and appreciating that every child is an important national asset of the Republic of South Africa, this Lekgotla commits the government and its social partners to take our children on the most exciting and meaningful journey of their lives, from which our children will emerge with the knowledge as well as the skills necessary to better respond to the challenges of a changing world. We're here to discuss and agree on the steps we will take collectively in the year 2019 and beyond to make basic education a more effective and more efficient platform for the creation of an intellectually empowered youth that is ready for higher forms of learning. It is at the basic level of education where we must inculcate and embed the culture of learning, where we must produce children who are obsessed with consuming existing knowledge and create a burning desire among them to produce new knowledge. This we must do while simultaneously working to build a citizenry that is conscious of, as well as committed to the ideal of a truly united nation, underpinned by the principles of non-racialism, non-sexism, democracy, and a shared prosperity. The NSC qualification continues to grow in inclusivity as well as diversity with the growth of technical subjects. As the Minister came to brief me before the results were put out, one of the most impressive parts was when she said, "Mr. President, we've introduced new subjects and quite a number of them are technical subjects, and the young people have just written and a number of them have passed." Then I realized that indeed this is another marker of the progress that we are making. In a holistic first, during the 2018 NSC examinations, another important marker, deaf learners had the opportunity to write South African Sign Language as a home language as an examinable subject. One reason why we are excited about the general upward trend in our grade 12 results is that we know that it is a manifestation of improvements occurring at all levels of the schooling system. Our education offering now includes the examinable subject of sign language as a whole language. International trend study data points to ongoing improvements over the last 10 to 15 years in what our learners know and can do at the primary and lower secondary levels. However, we understand that we have a long way to go and we have not yet arrived at where we want to be. As we mark 25 years of democracy, our actions in the end will continue to be anchored on our own recognition of education as a key driver of a fair and sustainable development future that we want to have. Working together, we must strive to ensure that our children do excel from an early age, especially in the prioritized area of science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, now popularly known as STEAM. This will better prepare them. Yes, you did say I'll talk about the fourth industrial revolution. It will better prepare them for the fourth industrial revolution. What we now need to do is to train our young people to realize that the fourth industrial revolution is not a threat. It is not a debilitating moment in the history of the world. In fact, we should be demonstrating to them that it opens great opportunities and that they should grasp those opportunities, but we also have to prepare them to be able to interface with this new world that is coming. Now more than ever before, we need to think more holistically about the development, yes, of our children. From early childhood development to senior years in the schooling system, a vibrant learning environment must exist. It must exist in order for it to free the potential of our children. We must ensure that the limited resources that we have are effectively allocated, but also well spent in the interest of future generations. We must place strong emphasis on a vibrant learning environment because there is nothing more disastrous than schooling without learning. It is a terrible waste of resources and human potential. Worse still, it is a real terrible injustice that deprives children of the rights that are enshrined in our Constitution. We all know that without learning, our children will be trapped in lives that are defined by poverty and economic exclusion. And this is what must frighten us more than anything else, that we do not want to bequeath to our children a life of continued poverty and a life of exclusion from playing a key role in the affairs and the economy of their country. Getting quality teacher development to be more equitably distributed across the system should be something that will not happen automatically or by accident. It needs careful and deliberate planning and a proper sense of the various incentives, both financial and non-financial, which can be made available, which also influence the choices that teachers make. It is important that education we give our children does keep pace with societal and technological change. We recognize that the changes in the labor market, the world of work, will have profound implications for the learning systems. Emergent knowledge and 21st century skills have to be included in the curriculum at all educational levels. The redesign of modern curricula requires higher flexibility through evidence-based research, stakeholder involvement, as well as innovation. There are quite a number of initiatives that are in place, such as the three-stream curriculum model, and these are promising. This approach needs to be subjected to thorough evaluation as well as cost-effective but also cost-sensitive planning. Our education system must aim to create complete human beings. In this regard, greater attention in the end must be given to life skills and physiosocial support for learners. And this is an important area because a number of our young people, as we know, come from very challenged backgrounds, very challenged communities, and it is where the offering that we give them for education needs to be much more holistic and take this into account. The sector needs to support learners in improving their life skills relating to, yes, things like sexuality, care and support, as well as tactics that are used in schools such as bullying. As we pursue the goal of equipping learners with knowledge and skills for a changing world, we should seek to do so in a safe learning environment. And And this one cannot be emphasized more than anything else. We actually do need to create this safe learning environment, and Department of Police needs to work much more closely with basic education to make sure that indeed schools are safe environments for our children to be able to learn. In recent weeks, we have observed increasing levels of violence and racism in some of our schools. We welcome the campaigns of Department of Basic Education working with other government entities and partners to address issues such as social media bullying, alcohol abuse, learner pregnancy, and HIV infection. We also welcome efforts together with the Department of Arts and Culture and Sports and Recreation to promote nation building, social cohesion, tolerance, positive values, and a culture of human rights. We must have zero tolerance for racism, sexism, bullying, violence, and other forms of antisocial behavior in our schools. This is where we should really start, because this is where we begin to build this children to be the South Africans of the future who are going to take our country forward, rid of racism, of sexism, and rid of violence of all forms. We must stand firm against school governing bodies that deny children access to schools on the basis of their linguistic backgrounds. We need to also mobilize our communities, civic and non-governmental organizations to prevent the vandalization of schools as part of service delivery protests. That is important, because it doesn't make any sense where communities want a road to be built, they go and burn a school. Where communities are complaining about the demarcation of their town, and then they go and burn tens and tens of schools in their area. Because by so doing, we are using our children, the future of this country, as weapons to fight our wars and to get involved in protests. We cannot allow our children to be denied their right to education because we as adults have certain grievances to raise with one another. Denying our children their rights to education in the end places the future of our country in jeopardy. No matter the difficulties that we face, we cannot continue along this path. It is a matter that must be linked to the streaming of skills and the building of a diverse and capable workforce. We must move with greater speed as well as some agility in promoting flexible learning pathways that ease the transition between all educational levels as well as phases. These include early childhood development, primary and secondary education, technical vocational and technical occupational education and training, as well as higher education and training. We must improve the tracking and monitoring of learners transitioning through these pathways. And we must support them and give them all the assistance that they need. One change which is likely to facilitate greatly the pathways between schools and colleges would be a general education certificate, or what other people would call a GEC, at a level below grade 12. I'm glad that this approach and an idea put forward as far back as 1995 in one of our earliest education white papers, appears to be on the policy agenda once again. Apart from facilitating the transition from school to college, a GEC would address the current problem of hundreds of thousands of young people leaving education completely each year with no national qualification with which to navigate the labor market. All of this requires that we must improve the qualification of our teachers as well. Teachers must know the subjects that they teach extremely well and must be able to teach them well as well. As we prepare for the 6th democratic administration, the basic education sector plan needs to focus on a number of critical areas. And these should include, without any doubt, early childhood development, because it is never too early to have ECD, but it can easily be too late to have it. And when you look at a number of our children around the country, at times you find that interventions that we make are a bit too late because we did not start early enough. I was at a school in KZN, which we visited with Minister Motsaga, and I said to the young people, I'm going to start a presidential reading club, where I will invite South Africans to at least read one book a month, 12 books a year. And we will hold a reading festival where I will come and tell those who are members of the club what book I'm reading and choose a number of people to tell us the books they're reading. So reading is important, and I want to call on all of you who are involved in education to start this reading revolution. Let us get South Africa reading, because when we all start to read in a very serious manner, we will be able to open new avenues of knowledge, of innovation, of creativity, of everything that is the best in the world as we read. We've set out on a path of dramatically improving the lives of our people, to lift millions out of poverty, particularly through education. This Lekgotla is a platform for researchers and experts to present their findings on pertinent education issues affecting our countries, but informed by current global philosophies that is underpinned by sound evidence and an improved understanding of education diversity, agility, and modernization. And emerging out of this Lekgotla, the basic education sector must tell us how to inspire among education practitioners a positive and practical theory of change that leads to improved learning outcomes. Let this gathering embrace a new dawn in which we boldly declare that quality basic education is the most powerful and potent weapon that we can use to change the lives of millions of South Africans. It is in our hands. We are the brains trust of the nation. Let us go out and empower this nation that is ready for that empowerment emanating from us. Thank you very much.